Okay, guys, I want to tell you a little discussion between rich and poor. Uh, uh, who's generally more uh, bad when it comes to like a theft? Like it is generally assumed or something. Uh, it's right, but it's not right on the assumption that poor people do. Uh, like it is assumed that they are just thieves and stuff. Blah blah blah. But we know that's just not true. But why the proportion of it has an a consequence to give that assumption, and I'll show you why. Uh, but it still doesn't validate any point. It's just you'll see the point within what I'm saying. If you're going to be corrupt, you're going to be corrupt. Okay, rich or poor. It's just that they do it in different ways because they have to do it in different ways. You get a narcissist stealing or a poor person out of necessity. It doesn't justify it because you have a right to live, you don't have a right to survive. And I won't touch up onto that, but I'll go into my example. Because if you have a right to survive, then you can justify anything, theft, to live. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, I won't. Okay. See, if you're a thief, you're just going to be a thief. The problem is, if you're rich, you compared to like a narcissist in a society that, I mean, it makes a good assumption, no murder, no theft, no. That's a good human assumption. But if you're owning a business, you have to, something that a narcissist has a hard time doing is properly rewarding people within their system because they can easily duck out and go somewhere else. There's 50 different stages. 3 strikes and you're out, you can still go. But on a corporation that's big, you get more noticeable, so you're kind of done if you're into that. And a lot of people notice. But they had to issue some fairness of reward. So even if they find out the people at the work, they got screwed, they still had a filter of still reward that was still somewhat fair. Whereas a person comes, they steal something from your house and you just don't like them because even though they still stole, he who does bad, rich or poor, still does bad. But because they receive no type of reward from them by a default value, obviously they won't dislike them, even though they did the same thing, just they have to do it differently. They have to do it differently because they're accepting responsibility. That's how you grow a business. You cannot grow a business unless you're somewhat fair in a fair society about the most simplest form of fair. And that's an easy concept if you're just not milking the system. And to assume that rich people only got rich because of they're cheating the system, well, that's an overgeneralized statement, just like saying he who is poor is blah, blah, blah. The temptation is still there. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that answers part of the question. And the mechanism of rich to poor, however you do the mechanism, but you can still filter out the assumption about it because you still got to do it individually. But it feels like, now the point I made earlier is an absolute point. This is another point that's more like, you got to watch it and it's not a good point. It's just you got to watch the assumption that you make yourself because those who steal from you, you could make this assumption and you're setting yourself up to make a false assumption. But I want to point it out there and put it out there. It's because those who steal from you come in your geographical area physically, as opposed to those who just siphoned the system and still took for you because there is no difference in the stealing mechanism, but there's in the interpersonal relationship because we see more people poor than we do rich. It's a statistical. And those who are stealing from us are coming to our geographical area and doing something, a geographical, though it proves nothing, they're in our area. Like we see them. Because the rich aren't literally coming to our house and stealing our stove, or you get what I'm saying? So it's like you got to watch yourself, those who are living like in a house, like beside me. Because if you make the assumption, no, you're wrong about the poor. It sounds like the other way, but no. It's you got to watch yourself. And I just want to bring that up. But the illustration before that I pointed out is the poor's harder inability to reward, because they will just opportunity and how it functions. Okay, thanks guys.